At 9 months pregnant, I thought surprises were behind me. Everything had become routine: sleepless nights, aching legs, constant fatigue. My body felt like it belonged to someone else, just temporarily. The only comfort was the quiet moments and the scent of my favorite tea in the mornings. I was sitting in the armchair, gently stroking my belly, lost in thoughts about how everything was about to change. And then he walked in, my son. 21, grown, independent, with a steady voice but that same old awkwardness when the topic turned delicate. "Mom, can I?" he asked, holding a small jar in his hands. "The doctor prescribed this ointment. I mean, cream. For a specific area. Said I should follow the instructions carefully." He spoke with that half-smile I knew so well, the same one he had as a boy, not sure whether I'd laugh or scold him. But something about this moment felt different. Not his words, his tone. His eyes. The hesitation. "What do you want from me?" I asked, trying to keep my voice even, though my heart was racing. "Just, can you check the ingredients? There's a lot in there, and I'm not sure if it's safe, you know, down there. I mean, I'm still a guy." We sat on the couch. I took the jar and read through the label. The list was odd: some kind of bark extract, cocoa butter, vascular stimulant. I muttered. Oak bark, cocoa butter, vessel stimulator? What the heck?" He laughed. But it wasn't just a laugh. Nervous. A little too close. I felt his gaze, and suddenly I was uncomfortable in a way I couldn't explain. Then he said, "The doctor mentioned the effect might be, well, surprising. So I should test it first. To avoid an awkward moment with a girl." He looked away. And in that moment, I knew there was no girl. That cream wasn't just about a prescription. And the way he lingered in the room, it all began to shift. Slowly, deeply, irreversibly. What happened next shattered the world I thought I knew. I'll take a short pause. Let me know in the comments where you're listening from, and if anything similar has ever happened in your life. I'm genuinely curious. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss what's next. I'm continuing. He came into my room again, just to ask something. Still holding that little jar, looking just slightly unsure, as if even he didn't know why he was really there. But I didn't think too much of it. Not at first. The room was warm, bathed in soft light. Outside, rain drizzled gently. From the kitchen, the scent of baked apples filled the air. I'd made a pie earlier. Everything felt peaceful. Almost too peaceful. "So, did you check the ingredients?" he asked, sitting next to me. I did. "Not sure how well it works, but it's definitely unique," I replied with a shrug. He laughed. Again, too close. Too relaxed. His smile lingered, and his eyes didn't drift away like usual. It was as if he wanted to say something but was holding it in. The air between us thickened. Something shifted. We talked about the weather, his friends from college, a concert that got cancelled. But none of it mattered. It all felt like filler, like noise hiding something unspoken underneath. Something heavier. And then he said, "Have you ever felt like someone close to you isn't really who they seem to be?" I froze. Was that a hint? A confession? A trap? "Sometimes," I said carefully. "Why do you ask?" He nodded. Then looked straight into me. The kind of look a man gives a woman, not a son to his mother. My stomach tightened. I didn't want to believe what I was sensing. But I couldn't stop my thoughts anymore. I remembered all his sudden weekend trips, the phone calls that would stop mid-sentence when I walked in, the unfamiliar scent on his shirt last week. Not perfume. Not soap. Something warmer. Closer. More intimate. And in that moment, I realized, maybe there was someone. But not a girl. Not a boyfriend. Someone much closer. Too close. I didn't want to believe it. But that evening, in that look, in that subtle tension between his words, the truth was clear. And I stood right on the edge of something dangerous. But it was too late to step back. It happened by accident. I was looking for my charger, and his phone was on the table. The screen lit up suddenly, a message preview. I wasn't going to check. Everyone deserves privacy. But the words caught my eye. Same as yesterday? Same room? I picked up the phone. I don't know what made me do it. Instinct? A pregnant woman's sixth sense? Or something deeper, something that had been building for weeks, the tension I couldn't explain but constantly felt. The chat was long. Not in length, but in weight. They texted every day. Secretly. No emojis, no silly lines, it was mature. Too mature. There was planning behind it. Intention. And a strange intimacy that didn't belong. But the real shock wasn't what he wrote. It was who he wrote it to. My chest tightened as I opened the contact. The name. I knew it. Too well. It was my husband. The same man who offered to fluff my pillow every night. Who gently touched my belly and whispered, "We'll get through this together." Who promised I was everything to him. And behind my back, this. Their messages were careful, almost professional. But between the lines, fire. Phrases like, "Remember, she's sensitive. Better use the living room. You almost caught us that time, still feel my heart racing." I nearly dropped the phone. My whole world spun. My heartbeat thundered in my ears. The air was heavy, like the walls were closing in. They had been meeting here. In our home. Sometimes while I was in the bath. Sometimes during my afternoon naps. When I thought they were just playing games or watching a movie. And maybe it had started even earlier, when I noticed how well they communicated, without speaking. Yes, this was betrayal. But not just physical. It was deeper. A fracture of trust from both sides, the man I shared my life with. And the boy I had raised. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just sat on the bed. And I knew, that life, the one I believed in, was gone. I stared at the door. Behind it, silence. But I knew, when they walked back in, nothing would ever be the same. Tell me in the comments what you think about this story. Have you ever experienced something similar in your life? Your thoughts truly matter to me, and I read every comment carefully. I deeply appreciate each one of you. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do so you won't miss the next thrilling stories. And give this video a like if it resonated with you. Wishing you a peaceful and warm day. And so I know you stayed until the very end. Write in the comments, sometimes the truth doesn't need to be found, it finds you.